Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott Wave update for Bitcoin. Now, just to make everyone aware, if I don't have time to make videos in a day and I'm about to get into a trade, I usually post the setup on my Twitter. So this was 22 hours ago on the 3-minute chart. I was tracking two different corrections as a WXY. I ended up getting in at the 1-to-1 extension of W off of X, and I posted the alternative in gray, which ended up happening, and we got the move after the fact, which was we were looking for a very fast drop after this Y wave corrected. So if you want to make sure you follow along in case I don't make a video, it is at caching_waves on Twitter. So that's if I don't have time to make a video. So let's talk about our bullish and bearish scenarios. I'm just going to show you two because this could be quite a long video. That is our bullish scenario. We have our fourth wave complete, and we're looking for a fifth wave to the upside around 98,000 currently. And our bearish scenario, most bearish scenario, I'm just going to show you that for now, is that this entire move is an A, B making a higher high, and a C wave as a flat correction. And this is actually not the trend whatsoever. We're still mid-correction, working on a C wave, looking for 5 waves down. In that case, these are a series of ABCs. Both, I think, are equally valid currently. So, knowing that, we got to go down to the micro time frames. I want to talk about how this, in the bullish scenario, we could still be working on our fourth wave in a few different ways. So we'll go down to the 4 hour, talk about the potential completion. So the potential completion is on the 4 hour that we have a double zigzag, A, B, C, X, and this is a 3-wave move for our Y as a zigzag, double zigzag. Now what I don't like about this, and this isn't my primary count, is the length of this Y wave compared to the W wave. We usually look for equal amount of time and price, both. A lot of people just use price, but you want to use time as well. That's where the right look comes in. So if we do make a lower low and are still bullish, I expect this to actually be an ABC, actually come down to the 1.618 extension of W off of X, which is around 45,579, and we're working on a C wave right now. Now, alternatively, how we can actually hold this level and still be in a Y wave is a similar WXY. We have our zigzag, A, B, C. We have our X wave, and we're working on a triangle, A, B, C, D, E. That completes our Y, and our trend actually starts over here. So that's how we can hold and still make 3-wave patterns, which would probably confuse a lot of people. And the whole issue came in with this wave. As you remember, I can count it as 3 or 5, so that opens up a lot of different opportunities for different patterns, unfortunately. Sometimes that happens. You can count a wave as a 3-wave or a 5-wave, and it opens up a lot of options, unfortunately. Obviously, we will get more accurate as things invalidate, but right now there's a lot of options. So in the triangle scenario, we'd be looking for 618 retracements, although the C or D wave can come deeper. We can come as deep as this 786 area for common areas. Usually one wave is deeper than the rest. It's usually the C or the D, and the C or the D usually is the longest wave, one or the other, most likely the C wave. So in this scenario, I'd be looking for lower highs and higher lows come to a contraction in this E wave in a 5-wave move as an A, B, C, D, E, and then our trend starts from over here. Now, we'll talk about the most bearish scenario, which I think is unlikely. This is not my primary, and that is we have a wave 1, 2, and nested 1, 2s after that. So you can see where the issue is with this, and it is that second 1, 2 on the micro. It did not invalidate, but came very close to invalidating. So although not invalid, so we have to consider that option, unlikely. Usually we look between the 50 and the 786, right? Or as high as the 382 for our wave 2s, and we're well past that. But if we do drop here, looks like a pretty aggressive drop, and we make our 3, 4 don't overlap with our wave 1, and our 3 of the larger degree, 4, 5, then obviously this will come back into play. Might be invalid next time we update this, but for now it is technically valid. Now this impulse to the upside is still technically valid, and that is where this was our Y wave complete. And this is the start of our 5th wave to the upside. In this scenario, it has its own issues. That is, this is our 1-2 of one lesser degree of this 1-2. You can see the time of it. The price was past the 1-to-1 extension on linear scale. Usually you look for a smaller 1-2. Something like this. If this was a 1-2, 1-2, you want a smaller degree. It does not invalidate that. This is just guidelines, but still you must take these things into account when you're coming up with your primary count. Now, in this scenario, I'd be looking for this to be a double zigzag. It's a WXY. Come down to as far as the 786, but we only have to come below this W wave to be considered complete. Obvious invalidations of this is the beginning of the wave 1 in green there, which is at, according to Binance, you'll have to check your own areas for that, 54,588.62. So this is still technically valid, and say we do come to around that 786 area, we have to adjust all our fib targets, but you get the idea. We'd be looking for 5 waves up. This would be our strongest wave, our 3rd of the 3rd. So that's our micro impulse. Finally, this is my primary. I actually think we are still in the middle of a correction, and we're about to get a higher Y wave. And this is our A wave within our Y on the larger degree. Remember, we were looking for this move down to about 45,000. I think what's more likely is this is turning into a combination WXY, and this is all a B wave. So this is our A, B is going to be up here somewhere, and then we get an equal length. That works out better because we don't have to come as low. We don't have to come to 45,000. This will most likely continue to channel like this, and we might just drop below and finally move to the upside. So let's talk about the counts here. So in that scenario, this is a 5 wave. Again, can also be a 3 wave. If we pass this 90%, it turns into a flat. But as of right now, I have this as an ABC for our W wave. Looking for this to be a double zigzag, ABCX, ABC. Our 1-to-1 target on that, taken from the W wave off the X wave, if complete, is at 56,773, in which case I would look for a long to the upside for this Y wave. Now, issues with that. If we only hit this 1-to-1 at 56,000, we take the length of our W, extend it off that level. You can see the 1-to-1s all the way at 72,677. Now we can just hit a 618, but we usually target that 1-to-1, right? So if that ends up happening and we actually do target the 1-to-1, I'd actually expect this to be some sort of flat pattern. 382. It's at the 105. Yeah, it's kind of in no man's land, unfortunately. So that's why I have this alternative. I'll show you that. And that is, either we just come to that 1-to-1, only hit like a 618 extension of W off of X for our Y, and then make that C wave down, partner leg here. Or this B wave, sorry, too many things here. This B wave, or this X wave, actually comes deeper and we can actually make a flat. This would have to really get dropping and we'd come to a pretty extreme correction for our Y wave target. This is just the alternative. And rather than a WXY, if we pass this 90%, it would become an ABC, right, as a flat. And that 1-to-1 target makes a little more sense at that 786. So we're going to have to see which one we get. Both are obviously just as valid. But I'm looking to take profit here around the 1-to-1, around 56,773. And right now my stop loss is just at the, just for any of you that took that trade yesterday, I got in around 61.1. And how I am trading this now is this looks like a 5-wave move down. I'm letting this run. I'm just putting my stop at the 66, just past the 618. That's my standard one I use when I'm see a 5-wave move down and I'm in a trade looking to stay in as long as possible. And I go between log and linear to see which one is furthest away. This one would be log. I'm on a different exchange for my trade, but my stop would be at 60,717. I'd just put at 718, something like that. Looking for a B and then a C. And I'd be taking profit at that 1-to-1 extension. And then pay attention what happens, right? If we get a double zigzag here and that becomes our correction, do we get a nice 5-wave move off? Then I'd consider opening along in this area and flipping back to the upside. Because remember, we can come pretty deep here if this actually ends up being a 3, 3, 5 as a flat, because those targets are so far away we discussed. So we'll see what happens here. And if we just keep collapsing here, because this move is pretty aggressive, then I might hang on to it and assume that very bearish micro situation, right, as a third wave. But obviously need more data to make that decision. Now, one more thing is I took the length of our W, extended this off of wave X if it is complete, and expect it to take at least a 1-to-1 in time. It can be a little shorter, but that's what I want to see for the right look. And that would take us out to Saturday. So we'll see if we get a nice sideways B here, C wave to the downside, similar to this. We're looking for a partner leg to this. So we might grind sideways for a bit, but yeah, my stop is at the 66 of this move down, and there's no way I can lose money on this trade. It will be in profit no matter what. Okay. So those are the options I'm looking at. The one more bullish option, I haven't really put it up here. I did talk about it last time, but I will have a drop for it next time. If we come down to that target, very same target, 3-3, this can be a wave 1, 2 within a diagonal, right? We talked about this last time, like so. But I'll make sure I have that added next time. You can see all the options. There's quite a few. But even if you play that as the WXY, where you're targeting this Y wave over here, the direction is the same from the same area. So it should look very similar, right? This third wave should look like a Y wave in the diagonal, right? So won't miss it anyway. The trade setup will still be there. All right, so if you want to subscribe to Twitter, feel free. It's at caching_waves. The link is in the description as well, but I will be trying to get these videos up as quick as possible, but just been busy, very busy this summer. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.